And I think one of the most powerful ways to get this is to ironically do nothing, but just rest. And just allow everything. This is going to happen anyway, but just allow everything just to arise as it arises. It's just happening, right? Naturally, spontaneously, uncontrollably. Life is here. Every perception just arising. Everything just appearing experientially, we could say. And feel the way in which everything is free. Every perception is free. Without our doing something to make it free. Its very nature is to arise and let go. Everything is free. Everything is released naturally. Every thought, everything we call a thought, everything we call a feeling, everything we call a sensation, just arises and lets go of itself. This is the impossibility of holding anything in place. That's how free it is. That's how unconfined everything is. No matter what we might do to bind it, capture it, it's free. It's uncapturable. It's unbound. It's unconfined, unconfinable. Each perception, each momentary perception, free in the moment of its appearance. This is the real freedom, not the freedom that some supposed state I can get myself into that feels free, and then of course I can lose as a state because of the dynamic nature of reality. We lose everything in every instant because of the dynamism of this, right? We can't hold it in place, but we do it. We don't need to. This is the free flow of each moment, the freedom of each moment. Each moment, we could say its very basis is freedom, unbounded freedom. And we're not over here noticing this unbounded freedom. We are another of its uncontained, uncontainable expressions. We are that freedom. Everything about us is this freedom that is everything, that moves as each instant, that moves as each moment, because that is its nature. Its nature is freedom. There's only freedom. Nothing bound. We think that there's some kind of bondage, and then we do X, Y, or Z to realize freedom. But what I'm suggesting is that there is no bondage, because this is free. It's the freedom of it is inviolable. It's indestructible. It's impossible to make it other than it is. It cannot be bound because it's not its nature to be bound. And just feel that, just rest as that freedom that is appearing as each moment, and nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be corrected about your experience because it's free. Each moment is the presentation and the evidence of this freedom, we could say. If there's any mistake that we make, and I say that word, hold that word very lightly, because even the apparent mistake is pure freedom, but we take the perceptions that are arising to be something other than freedom. And yet they're unbound, they're unfettered, they're untethered, they're ungraspable. It's how free they are each moment. On the one hand, everything that appears, we have all these descriptions. So we imagine that the phenomena has become what we think it is. It's become a thought, it's become an emotion, it's become a sensation, and we experience it in that way. And yet we could really say that what it really is freedom. And part of the freedom of every perception, seeming perception of every moment, is that it's free of all description. It's free of all designation. It's free of all knowledge of what it is. It appears to become something identifiable and definable, which is the world that we seem to inhabit, and in one sense do inhabit. But in this other sense, we don't exactly inhabit merely that definable world. We are this is so free of identity, or so free of designation, because it, as they say in the Tibetan tradition, everything liberates itself upon arising. So it's freed in the immediate perception. It's free. It's gone. It's just gone. The moment's just gone. It never, we could say it becomes something, or it seems to become something, but the minute it seems to become something, it becomes something else, you see? So it's free of identity. That's what that means. Because the minute you put your finger, we think we've put our finger on what it is. I found it. There it is. I've just identified what it is. It's free. It's gone. It's like what? It's like you can't be caged in our descriptions. It's free. It's free of description. Feel the unboundedness of that, of this, of everything, of every moment. It's free of language. It's free of concepts. It's free of designations and all the seeming, oftentimes limiting implications of those designations, right? Because the definitions of things make them small. That's what defining does. I define you, I put the limits around what you are. If I define myself, I place the limits around what I am. That's what the definition does. This is what it is. I've just limited it. But this is free of all limitation, because everything is undefinable, indefinable, owing to its relentless dynamism and shape-shifting. And we're feeling this, aren't we, right now? Aren't you feeling the release of each moment? Where are the last 16 minutes of our being together? They're not here anymore, are they? We're free of that history, because it's no longer here. What's here is this. This is what's real. And this is gone no sooner than it appears. And if this is gone no sooner than it appears, how is there even an appearance of anything, you might ask, understandably. It's here for no time, but that's its magic. That's its magical display, is it looks like the world. It looks like something you can grasp hold of and hold, as your friend and your lover and your child and your parent. I mean, it really does. That's the beauty of the forms. They are something else. I mean, I marvel at the forms. I mean, we all do. They're extraordinary, and we get to play with those forms, seemingly, including the form of us as these creatures. So there's no denying the appearance of this and the experience of those appearances as being things that we can interact with and engage with and revel in, and also be tormented by and overwhelmed by and feel caught in and traumatized by and threatened by. So there's that side as well, isn't there? Which is this is where the practicality of this ever-present freedom comes in, which is to feel the things that you experience and I may experience as threatening or problematic or troublesome. From one perspective may be that, and then we can take whatever steps we do to address those problems, if you will. And then from this other perspective, there's no such thing as problems. There's just freedom, unbounded freedom, that can look like a problem that might ask for a solution. It can look like that, most certainly. But from this other perspective, there's just this unbounded display of infinity, of freedom, ungraspable, indefinable, and always here as everything, as each moment. Each moment is the expression of freedom. Again, it's not a state. It's the basis, we could say, of every state, of every moment. So it can't be lost, right? It doesn't come and go. It comes and goes as all of this coming and going, all of this appearing and disappearing and appearing and disappearing of each moment. The last, whatever now, 20 minutes of coming and going, appearing, disappearing, appearing, seemingly, disappearing, seemingly. So the flow, we always have this flow, this sense of this flow, this dynamism. But it's freedom, isn't it? Feel the freedom of it, the absolute. And the rest is the rest from having to find it somewhere, secure it, hold on to it, and right, conjure up some kind of experience, cultivate a certain kind of freedom or experience or presence. That's already here as this moment, as every moment.